that shock value is in, and we might be picking some of the same guys for some of the same awards.
Probably, it's possible. No, it's definitely possible.
And I'm not talking just the regular awards, like MVP or.
It's you'll see. I'll say that you'll see. But hey, welcome to the show, everybody. Thank you for joining us tonight on your Sunday, wherever you may be, whether you're on the East Coast, 6:15 right now. If you're on the West Coast, if you wait a minute, I said that all backwards. If you're on the West Coast, 6:15. Hey, if you're on the West Coast, it's 6:15 right now. If you're on the East Coast where fall games, it's 9:15. I know it's getting late for you guys, so we're gonna get this show in a row. I really, really appreciate you guys coming out and watching us tonight. Again, welcome to the two-man front. My name is Be Easy. That's my boy, the Fog. And today we got a pretty good show today. We got a pretty good show, jam-packed with things. Today we're going to be talking about winners and losers of Week 10 of the early games. The Week 10 early games right now. Really, really, really good games today, including the Thursday night football game. We got a topic that has been kind of floating around. Does the NFL have a young quarterback problem? A lot of guys have been benched over the last few years. We're going to talk about we are going to dissect whether the NFL has a young QB issue. And then also mid-season awards. We are about halfway through the season, right? We're about halfway through the season at this point. And wait a minute, is it week 9 or week 10? It just hit me. It's not week 10.
This is week 9.
I'm gonna have everybody ignore the back of the screen, the background. I'm gonna change that.
Yeah, this is week 9. Why? What do you got? Oh, week 10. I didn't even notice that.
week 9 winners and losers. I was like, wait a minute, it doesn't even look right. It's not week 10 yet. Week 9 winners and losers. Week 9 winners and losers. And then, of course, we got the quarterback problem. And then mid-season. Again, I was saying that there really isn't technically a mid-season anymore because obviously we're 17 games is an odd number now. So it's like not really a mid-season anymore, whatever. But this is the mid-season award. We're going to talk about our mid-season awards. We got MVP, not MVP. I got to change that. Man, was I drunk? I did this. We got Offensive Player of the Year, mid-season Defensive Player of the Year, mid-season Rookie of the Year, and of course, mid-season Coach of the Year. And like I told Fog, it's not who you expect. It's not who you expect. But Fog, let's jump right into it, man. Let's jump right into it. Oh, and also, subscribe to our YouTube page using that QR code right there in the corner, if you may. And of course, leave your comments below. We love when you guys are on talking with us. It makes the show go a lot better, a lot smoother, and it's more fun to talk to you guys when we're chatting. But Fog, with that being said, let's get to our winners and losers. Who are your winners and losers of week 9?
I'm going to go with losers first. Let's just get it out. The fucking Dallas Cowboys. It just can't get any worse. Like, it really can't get any worse. It's not even Dak got hurt. Like, I saw the play. He just pulled a hamstring. He threw the ball, pulled a hamstring. That was it. It was over. There's nothing more to say. CeeDee Lamb gets hurt. Cooper Rush comes in. The team, Dallas is in disarray. They're going to be a loser every single week. Even if they win, they're still losers. They're just it's just that bad in Dallas. The other one for me is Chicago. And
Yep.
Look, I've said this. I think you're on the same page with me as far as Eberflus is concerned. It looked like they were starting to right the ship. You go to Arizona and you got bodied in Arizona. Like it was disgusting the way that game played out. And I really think, as talented as Caleb Williams is, and I turned around and I said Jaden Daniels is the best quarterback in this draft, but as talented as Caleb Williams is, and as talented as that team is skill position-wise around him, they did nothing to protect him from the offensive front. that combined with, I don't know what kind of play calling is going on over there, but you're not going to see success. You're not going to see Caleb Williams actually flourish and get to grow into the player that he could potentially be, unless they change that coaching staff. So those two, Dallas obviously, and the Bears, especially the coaching staff for the Bears, are my big losers. The big winner, Chase Brown, man. I'm gonna go.
He's a big winner. 100%.
Remember, I had him top 5 running backs coming out in the draft, and a lot of people are like, "Are you kidding me? Don't sleep on this kid. Don't they? I saw what he did in Illinois. I liked it.
He was one of our guys. He was one of our guys.
Yes.
He was one of our guys. Yep.
Yes.
No question.
Can't sleep on this guy. And he would, again, Zach Moss getting hurt. He got a chance to showcase himself. Now, again, it was against the Vegas Raiders, who have one of the worst defenses in the NFL. Bottom line is, even when he was splitting time with Zach Moss through the first 5 or 6 games of the season, he was still delivering better. And even though he's not getting the yards per carry that you want to run him back to get, well, today he did. He's relevant in both the receiving game as well as the running game. And he showcased himself today. In all honesty, I think Zach Moss may be done when he comes back from his injury. I think he may be done. I think the job was slowly transitioning to Chase Brown, and I think after today, I'm pretty confident that it is Brown's job at this point, and that
I think so too. Yeah,
Zach Moss is done.
Yeah, that's a good winner. I like that winner a lot. That's a good winner. So I'll start with my losers as well, and one of my losers is actually going to he's gonna make our next segment when it comes to young quarterbacks. My loser is and honestly, to be fair, he didn't do anything this week because he got benched. So my biggest loser, unfortunately, is Anthony Richardson, right? And it may not be fair to call him a loser. I'm not calling him a loser in regards of like who he is as a person or as a quarterback, because he's still young. But I wasn't a big fan of him tapping out of the game. I just felt like it was such a horrible look on his end, tapping out of a game, saying he was tired and just saying that he needed a break or something like that. Which I felt like, it was more so of you going 2 for 15 and you being horrible the first half.
What did Michael Parsons say? Lie to the media
lie,
on his podcast.
Like, it's okay to lie. Say you had a hit pointer, which you really did. You literally had a hit pointer. Say something else, anything else except whatever the hell you said, which was just horrible.
I'm tired.
But man, like, it's not a good look. Not a good look for him right now. And also, it's not a good look at the fact that the Colts are winning 7-0 right now as we speak.
When I was trust me, I'm watching the game. This has not been an offensive showcase at all. This has been a complete shit show by both teams. I'm shocked that the Colts are actually looking to go up 10-0 on this with a field goal.
I'm sure. I mean, the Vikings would be my loser if they lose this game, because talk about a total, not collapse, but this will be their 3rd loss in a row after starting 5-0. And I remember just like 2 weeks ago, we were all praising Sam Darnold, right, for being an MVP candidate, but now that's pretty much out of the window. My other loser, honestly, it's gonna be New Orleans Saints, man. It's time for them to clean house. It's time. It's time for Dennis Allen to get out of there. It's time to move on from Derek Carr. I think they are just a terrible team. What are they, 2-7 now, I believe?
Yeah. After starting out 2-0, they've lost every single game since.
7 in a row. I'm surprised Alvin Kamara is still a Saint. To be honest, I did not feel like he was still going to be a Saint. I'm kind of shocked he is. But it's time to move on. Derek Carr was absolutely awful today, as usual. He's not very good. I would say that. Did you see what Michael Thompson said about, well, actually, Derek Carr was okay. I must look at his numbers. He wasn't bad.
No, Derek Carr
Derek
was
Carr
fine.
he hasn't been great this year, is what I'm saying. He hasn't been great, but the Saints as a whole, team wise, have been awful. But did you see what Michael Slant Boy said about him? Michael Thomas said about him.
No.
I mean, he's completely annihilated him on Twitter. I mean, I don't have the tweets in front of me, but it was pretty much saying that Derek Carr is a fraud, that they keep making excuses for him. Fired the trading. They fired half the staff for Derek Carr to cover up how bad he is. I mean, Michael Thomas. I mean, my God, I thought it was fake. I had to go see it. I had to go see what was going on, but no, it was real. Michael Thomas completely annihilated him. But
what's funny is sometimes you sit back and you go, are these stories really true, or is this just a disgruntled player? But I was watching Deshaun Jackson talk about I forget what podcast he's on with LaShawn McCoy.
But it's called like 25 and 10, something like that. Yeah.
They had Darren Sproles on there, and they were talking about Carson Wentz and how shitty of a person Carson Wentz was. And Sproles was trying to, cover it up. He was trying not to make it seem as bad as a lot of people had said. And you sit back and you just, you hear Thompson say this and you go, man, maybe this is true. Maybe Carr is a fraud.
I don't know. I don't know. Slant boy, I'd call Michael Thomas slant boy because all he ran was slants.
But
I would say that
there's got to be some truth to it.
There's some truth. I'm not saying I don't know if Michael Thomas is the greatest. I mean, the greatest person to say about this. I mean, the guy hasn't played in so long, and he hasn't been in the building. So I don't know. There's some disgruntled there between him and him. I'm not really sure, but I'm not sure how Michael Thomas could be upset because you're not on the field. I don't know why you're even talking. But but I mean, I've heard some good things about Derek Carr. And apparently, Devontae Adams loves the guy because he actually considered going to New Orleans. He wanted to play with Derek Carr. There was consideration there, but they just couldn't get the trade off. But I don't know. I just think the Saints are just a mess. They need to press the reset button. It's time for them. I feel like they're going to be in the market for a quarterback possibly because I think Derek Carr is just cooked. I think he's just not very good anymore. He had a good game today, but I just think he's not the guy that people think he is. Dennis Allen, I feel like he's going to be gone. The GM is going to be gone, I believe. And I just think they need to push a reset button in New Orleans. I think it's just not working. That's not working. My winners real quick this week are going to be let's give me another quarterback. My winner this week is Joe Burrow. Now, Joe Burrow, I've said that Joe Burrow is being kind of hoed by his team because I really feel like if Joe Burrow, if the Bengals were 5-4 or 6-3 right now instead of 4-5, playing catch up right now in the AFC North, Joe Burrow will be probably neck and neck with Lamar Jackson as an MVP candidate, like right there. But his team, they started so slow, and honestly, I think Zach Taylor. Joe Burrow may have saved Zach Taylor's job. I thought Zach Taylor was going to be gone. I felt like he was going to be gone this year, but they've won their last 3, I believe.
Yep.
So, they're looking okay now. They're back in that wild card hunt. I think Joe Burrow right now is definitely one of the best quarterbacks in the league, but he's probably the best quarterback on one of the worst teams as far as record goes. We'll see if they can keep that going. Definitely one of my winners is Joe Burrow today. My other winner today, also staying in the AFC North, is the Baltimore Ravens. I feel like they really, really came back from that embarrassing loss last week, to the Cleveland Browns and just annihilated the Denver Broncos. Lamar Jackson had a perfect game.
Yeah.
Perfect passer rating, perfect game. I mean, I don't want to give away who our leading MVP candidates. I mean, mine is Lamar. I mean, when we get to that segment, I'm telling you guys right now, Lamar Jackson is the leading candidate for MVP. I'll give some other names that could catch him, but Lamar Jackson right now today is the league MVP because of how he's playing numbers wise. I don't know if he's leading the league in touchdowns, but I know he's pretty damn close to it. I think
he's not. I don't think he's leading the league in touchdowns. Right now, I think Baker
Is
Mayfield's the
Baker still
leader in
leading the league?
touchdowns.
Is it Baker? Okay.
Baker had 21. Now, what would Lamar throw today? 3?
3 touchdowns. So he threw 3 at the moment. If this is updated on ESPN.com, if it's updated, he has 20. He will have 23. Right? Oh no, I'm sorry. If it's updated, so if they updated it, he has 20 right now. But if they haven't updated, he will have 23. Right. So right now,
that tracks because I don't think he had.
Okay, so he had 17 to come into this.
Yeah, he had 16 or 17. I think he had I think it was like 17 touchdown passes and 4 picks, if I'm not mistaken.
That's 2 picks, bro. 2 picks.
Okay, maybe.
So right now it's 20-2. Yes, 20 touchdowns and 2 interceptions, which is just
he was 17-2. He was second in touchdown passes. First was Baker Mayfield.
Okay, perfect. I mean 20-2 for Lamar Jackson, for a guy that they said that could not pass the football, is pretty damn impressive. Like, I mean, he's on the way to his first 4,000-yard passing season as well. So we'll see if he gets that. I mean, I feel like he's running away with this, but that's my other winner. That's my other winner is Lamar Jackson and Joe Burrow staying in the AFC North. And did the Browns win today? Or did they trash asses?
No, they lost. Good. J.K. Dobbins ran all over them.
All right, cool. All right, good. All right, I was just making sure. I wasn't paying attention to those clowns today. Let's move on to our next topic. Speaking of young quarterbacks like Lamar Jackson, we already spoke of Anthony Richardson, and there was a big debate this week because of the benching of Anthony Richardson. There was a trend going on. I'm going to put this on the screen. You're not going to see our pretty faces for a little bit, so bear with us. All right. There was a trend going on. Does the NFL have a young quarterback problem? So over the last few years, here's pretty much what it's looked like, right? Anthony Richardson, 22, was benched. Bryce Young was benched earlier this year. Trey Lance was benched. I have an issue with that one. But Justin Fields obviously was benched by us. I have an issue with that one as well. Not an issue, but context, right? Will Levis, Zach Wilson, Matt Jones, and trash Kenny Pickett. All right, so Fog, like, does the NFL have a quarterback development problem?
No.
Or do all these quarterbacks just suck?
No, they don't have a developmental problem. Let's look at these quarterbacks. You and I have discussed all of these quarterbacks at length because of the college football guys that we are.
Yeah.
And we discussed them in the draft. We both agreed Kenny Pickett was not going to be successful.
Yep.
I was more pro Mac Jones than you were. I said Zach Wilson was not going to be anything. We agreed Will Levis wasn't going to be anything. We failed on Trey Lance. Justin Fields circumstances, we can talk about that. I don't think that's I don't think he's as good as we were hoping he was going to be.
Yeah.
Bryce Young, jury's still out. Anthony Richardson, look, we both talked about it. His inconsistencies in college. What you're seeing now with AR-15 is exactly what you saw in college. He had games where he looked fantastic, and then he had games where he looked like complete garbage. Unfortunately, he had more garbage games than he did fantastic games. But there was an athletic ability there. There was an athleticism, an arm strength. There was talent there that everyone felt, oh, maybe he could develop into something. We don't have a development problem in the NFL. We have a twofold problem in the NFL. Number one, everybody is looking to be the smartest guy in the room and find the next Tom Brady, find the next Patrick Mahomes, find the next Peyton Manning, and they'll reach for a quarterback because it's a quarterback age. They'll reach for a quarterback to do so. Number two, we have a scouting problem because the tape doesn't lie. The numbers don't lie. So you're looking at these guys, you know what these guys are capable of or not capable of, and you're still taking a flyer or a risk because, well, Tom Brady was a seventh round pick. Derek Carr was a fourth round pick. You know, Prescott, what was he, third or fourth round pick?
Fourth
You know,
round
so
pick.
yeah. So it's like, well, maybe we can reach and get this guy. And you're not, I don't think they're looking at the tape properly. But the bottom line is there's a scouting issue for talent, and there is also this desire to win now issue.
Yep.
And if you're not winning now, then we're going to be quick to move off of you, which is crazy because the way the rookie contract is set up for these scale is when you get these quarterbacks, you've pretty much got them locked in for 5 years before you really have to pay big money. So why are you not waiting? But this is the difference between quality franchises and garbage franchises. And the Indianapolis Colts, unfortunately, garbage franchise. We've seen Kyler Murray develop. They were paid. Kyler Murray this year, I'm more impressed with Kyler Murray this year than I have been in previous years when he was the halfway point MVP. I'm more impressed with what I'm seeing from him now than what I was seeing from him in previous seasons. But the organization stayed steady on it, said, hey, we're going to develop this guy. We're going to work on him. And unfortunately, we're not seeing that with other organizations. Hence why you've got Geno Smith in Seattle as a starting quarterback when you go, how's he a starter? He sucked, right? Sam Darnold starting quarterback, putting up good numbers. And you go, oh, how's he a starter? It's not a developmental process. It's an organizational process. It's a scouting process. Yeah. It's a win now and let's find the next great quarterback process, and let's be the smartest person in the room in the room and overthink this process. The NFL doesn't have a quarterback developmental process. They have a quarterback infatuation process.
So as you were saying all that, I was thinking that I was hoping you would say it, but you didn't say it. I mean, I agree with everything you said for first and foremost. I do think there is like a smartest guy in the room process. There's definitely a scouting issue process. They're not scouting these guys. I mean, there's a lot. It's deep layered, right? There's a lot of issues going on to why these young quarterbacks are just failing. And I put the guys back on the screen. I was trying to do a double screen, but it doesn't look like it's gonna let me today. But let me put the guys back on the screen just so everyone knows who we're talking about here. I'll say this though, Falk. I'll say this much. I think the NFL just has a patience problem.
Absolutely.
I think that's, if it's anything, it's that. And I don't know. And look, money does have a lot to do with it, right? Money does have a lot to do with why these quarterbacks are going in so quickly, right? Why guys like Anthony Richardson, who had no business really even playing, is going in. Guys like Bryce Young, who got thrown into possibly the worst, absolute worst team on the planet, right? Trey Lance is different. Trey Lance got hurt, right? So I don't really know if Trey Lance can play. I have zero idea. I really don't. I still think people think he still can play. I don't know if Trey Lance can play, right? Who else is on that list? Give me 1 second. Let me see if I can pull this.
Justin
Fields got benched, but not because of his play. It could be because of his play. It could be.
Will Levis.
Will Levis. Look, I'm gonna be real with you. There's two guys on that list as I try to share my screen real quick. There's two guys on that list who I know can't play, right? I'm sorry. It may sound kind of mean, but I know they can't play. One is Will Levis. He's not good. Will Levis just is not good. Okay. One is Will Levis, and the other one is Kenny Pickett. All right, that's it. Those guys can't play.
Man, you got
Right? They
beef,
can't play.
real beef with Kenny Pickett.
Hey, look, but it's not even beef. I've always just been upset that the Steelers just picked him because he was there. Because we needed a quarterback. Big Ben moved on. I understand Mason Rudolph, and we went this whole Duck Hodges thing. We got Kenny Pickett, but I knew he couldn't play. I saw this guy in the ACC for 4 years. Like, I knew Kenny Pickett couldn't play. But
what was that guy's name? Huckleberry. I haven't seen him around in a while. He was praising Kenny Pickett.
Oh yeah. Oh, I was like, who is Huckleberry? Yeah. He's so if you don't know, he's a 4QQ guy. If you don't know who he is, if 4QQ may know I haven't seen him in a long time either. Hope he's doing well. Kevin Oliver has something to say. Kevin Oliver, I'll put your stuff on in a minute. But yeah, he just wasn't very good. But Mac Jones is a guy that I feel like kind of got screwed by the organization, kind of like Bryce Young. I feel like Mac Jones, and that was your guy too. You were on something with Mac Jones. I was super high on him coming out of Bama, but I still think when I saw him in the NFL, I was like, okay, this guy can play if he had some guys around him, pieces around him. Zach Wilson, I'm not quite sure about him just yet. I think it's a maturity thing. I think if he has maybe possibly a right situation, he could maybe have a Geno Smith situation. Right? I thought Geno Smith was really immature in New York. Really immature in New York. He goes to Seattle and he's comeback player of the year. Right? There's that. I just feel like the NFL has a patience problem. I just feel like they want these guys to play right away. Kevin Oliver says the coaching sucks. I can see that. I mean, the coach is not that great, but I do think that I can't always blame the coaching because at some point you have to execute. So I can't put it all on the coaching. He also says the stage was too big for Trey Young or Trey Lance. I don't know about Trey Lance. He got hurt. I don't know. I truly don't know how good Trey Lance can be. I'm not really sure. About the time he came around to my side of things about Kenny Pickett, I don't know who was talking about that, but Kenny Pickett did fake. He did peek at that fake slide against in his bowl game. But I would say the biggest issue for me is the NFL has a patience problem.
Yeah,
I just think that they need to go back to the model of these guys coming into the league super raw. A lot of them come into the league who are coming into like very easy systems from college. They come into the league not ready, not able to process things as quickly as they need to be. I also think that's something that can't be coached. Personally, I don't think processing speed can be coached. That's just if you can't process things fast enough to where guys are getting open or reach your first read and go through your progression, that's just is what it is. And that's honestly where I'm kind of leaning towards Justin Fields. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't think that can be coached. We'll see. He could prove me wrong, but a lot of these guys just can't play, man. But I do think the problem is patience or a lack thereof patience. And just these guys just needing to sit for like a year or two. I mean, all the greatest quarterbacks have sat. I mean, you go back to Patrick Mahomes sat for a year. Tom Brady, even though he came up from injury, he sat. Steve Young sat for 4 years, I believe, behind Joe Montana, right?
After he was deemed a failure because he was drafted by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and Tampa Bay couldn't do shit. The Buccaneers were a shit organization.
There you go. I mean, this has been happening for a while, and there's a great example of trash organization.
This isn't new. People are acting like this is new. This is not new. That's why I said it's not a developmental problem. It's like you said, it's patience. It's win now. And we've never been more immediately results driven than we have been over the last decade. If you can't come in and you can't make an immediate impact, if you can't give me star power the minute you hit the field.
Crazy.
But that's how these guys are being built up. Adam Schefter said it. I think it was on First Take. I saw a clip on YouTube where he said the problem is all of these guys are being built up. These teams are reaching for these players, and you have and history shows it. The history's there. You got 4 or 5 quarterbacks getting drafted, but realistically, only 2 of them pan out. If you look at first round picks, if you pick somebody in the first round, the expectation is you're picking, quite frankly, a future Hall of Fame player. That's what you're picking.
Yeah. In theory, yeah.
Maybe less than 10% of first round draft picks actually wind up with Hall of Fame careers. About 40% of them have a sustained NFL career. Like, oh, wow, he had a good career. Oh, shit, he was a first round draft pick. Why didn't he have a great career? So it's really, the numbers are there. It tells you that this isn't going to happen. But yet these teams, like I said, everybody is trying to reach and be the smartest person in the room. Where guys like Zach Wilson or Will Levis should have probably been drafted in the back end of a 5th, 6th round pick as a guy like, hey, maybe we'll take a flyer on this guy.
Yeah, take a
flyer. They were drafted in the 1st and 2nd fucking round.
Trey Lance is a flyer guy.
Anthony Richardson should have never been the 1st round pick. He should have never been a 1st round pick.
Oh man, the Anthony Richardson one. The crazy thing about Anthony Richardson that I've been told is that, which makes it even crazier to pick this guy so high, was that up until Florida, when he started at Florida, he only had been playing quarterback for like 4 years.
Yeah.
like which is crazy. And now he's a starting NFL quarterback. Right? It's
What threw me off with Richardson is I did all the research on him as far as his play. And I was like, I don't know why this guy is being me and you both question it. Why is he suddenly booming through the ranks?
I remember. Oh, go ahead.
Well, I'm like, I don't understand why. I get the athleticism, I get the ability,
That's
but
why
his completion percentage was still shit. He was still inconsistent. You could see that he wasn't processing the defenses and reading the defenses. His inaccuracies in his throws, where you got a guy running a 7 route or a 9 route, and you got the defender where covering where the route's being run, and you see the receiver making the adjustment to the defender, but he's still throwing the route as if the route is clear and free. It's like, why are you doing that? There was so much there to say that this guy is a project, and I said it. He's a rough draft. He's someone that needs to be helped and needs to be worked with. No, sir.
Yeah,
No.
That's not right. Lamar Jackson did not come in with so-so metrics.
No,
Lamar Jackson
came in with saw Lamar Jackson's growth. Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen were better quarterbacks, even though they were still. Think about this: Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen. I've said it at nauseum at this point. When they came into the NFL, they were great athletes learning to play the quarterback position, but they had shown success. You go back and look at Anthony Richardson's numbers, and then you go back and look at Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson's numbers. And I'm going to tell you right now, you watch film of them, you look at the numbers, everything tracks. Allen got better. Lamar got better. Anthony Richardson stayed the same. He only exploded on the scene because of how weak the quarterback draft was.
Well, I'll say this. I would say Josh Allen is more the reason why Anthony Richardson got drafted so high than Lamar Jackson.
Probably.
Lamar Jackson was great. Lamar Jackson was great at load. I don't even talk about that anymore. It's there. It's on film. It's on YouTube. Go watch Lamar Jackson throw the ball in college. you'll see that he was whatever he's doing now in the NFL, he was doing in college. He's gotten better at processing. He's gotten better at going through his reads. He's gotten much better. He's gotten better at limiting his turnovers. Much better. Obviously, he's grown as a quarterback. But Lamar Jackson could always throw.
Yeah.
Josh Allen was different. Josh Allen, I would say, was more raw, like Anthony Richardson. But at least Josh Allen had some at least some like experience, right? I don't know how long.
But you know what, Josh Allen, when he played, Josh Allen's only problems were against real good competition, the Power 5 competition. He struggled. But he played for Wyoming, so we got to give the curve
5 stars around him.
Yeah,
there's some 5-star guys around him helping him out, like Anthony Richardson did.
Yeah.
So
and
I get what you
Anthony
mean.
Richardson looks like a lesser version of Josh Allen.
Yeah, I just think Anthony Richardson was just a product of a guy that was supremely athletic, big arm, can throw a deep ball, and that's it. And honestly, it just goes back to your point, Falk, that these guys who are drafting, these scouts or owners or whoever's making these decisions are just terrible. Like, it's just awful. Like, it's a reason why teams like the Colts, if you look at this list, look at all the teams outside of my team, because that's bad.
Yep.
Like, Steelers, bad pick. We own it. Kenny Pickett wasn't good. But outside, and I will say the Patriots, because Mac Jones, well, I think Mac Jones can play, actually. I think the Patriots I think Bill Belichick just let the cupboard bare, but that's within itself. But Anthony Richardson, Colts, my opinion, bad franchise. Bryce Young, Panthers, bad franchise. Trey Lance, Niners, I think they're a pretty good franchise. I feel like they just should not have drafted him. I don't know. I still think they kind of regret that because they like trade away like 3 or 4.
Yeah, they traded up again.
But look, it's funny with them. It's funny that because Brock Purdy bailed them out. Like Brock Purdy bailed out the Niners, so they should be very grateful and give Brock Purdy whatever money he asks for next year, right? Justin Fields, Chicago Bears, bad franchise. Will Levis, Tennessee, bad franchise in my opinion. Don't even get me started on Zach Wilson and the Jets. Like, we all know anything that goes to the New York Jets dies, right? So, like, that's just it, right? So, like, just the way these guys just scout quarterbacks and just they look at I don't know what they're looking at, right? Anthony Richardson had no business being a first overall pick. None. And it's just crazy to think that they actually believe this, man. I think we both made some great points. I think it's a patience issue. You're right about the scouting. The scouting's off. But honestly, it all comes down to money as well, because I think Kevin said it earlier that they want these low contracts. They want to win now so they can win on these rookie contracts, so they can win Super Bowls and build around the team, which makes sense. I understand that standpoint, but I still feel like you need some time, let these guys develop, because when you have a guy like Bryce Young, who came from Alabama, who's had success all his life, and then you expect him to get dropped into a bad team, and you expect him to save a franchise with what around him. It's so crazy how like GMs and owners think that, I'm going to get Bryce Young. He's going to be the exact same kid at Alabama. He's going to raise our style. He's going to raise our team to new heights because he's Bryce Young, not knowing this guy needs help around. It's just, it's unbelievable. To me, it's unbelievable. Like, just, I don't even know.
Well, I think to the benching of him this year, in all honesty, I think that was important. And because Dave Canales actually runs a very in-depth offense. And I just don't think he was able to process all of it. So on top of being on a shitty team, that there's nothing around him, I don't think he was really ready for the type of offense that he was going to have to run under Canales.
Yeah, it could be. It could be. I mean, I think that comes with the process. I think Kevin Oliver said something like that here somewhere, where he says that's why there's a reason why Andy Reid and McVay's offense will always work. The players say it's simple, understand, execute. I suppose. I just think those two guys are pretty good at just play calling and this route combinations and not route running, but creating good route combos and putting their guys in position to succeed. So I just think they're very good at that as well. I want to say something, and Kevin, appreciate all your comments, but I do want to say something about this real quick. He says, "Look, I'm not arguing against you. I'm a Lamar apologist from day one, but if I remember correctly, they were both getting knocked for accuracy numbers." I think Lamar,
they were by mainstream media. Yeah, they were. We even questioned it, but
I never questioned Lamar. Okay, let me say this. I'm not one of these people. I've always known Lamar was accurate. For me, it was more so Lamar. It was how he conducted. It was, for me, my biggest issue with Lamar Jackson was how he conducted himself until this day in big games. That was my biggest issue, and how he kind of just was overzealous in big games. I never questioned. Lamar's always been accurate. His accuracy numbers went up every single year while he was at Louisville. Every single year they went up. So I can't say that accuracy. Josh Allen, I believe at one point, Josh Allen had a 56% completion percentage at Wyoming. So there was that as well. So So I'm not one of those people that question Lamar's accuracy. I'm just not. Josh Allen regrets after half. His offense got drafted, so he had the little cousins of the poor left over. That's funny stuff. And then lastly, Kevin says that's Kyle Shanahan thing, referring to Trey Lance. Guys think he can win with anything. To have a physical talent like Lance to mold was going to put him over the top. I do think Trey Lance could have been good in San Francisco, but he got hurt, and Brock Purdy came in and took his job. That's just pretty much, to me, that's pretty much what happened. I don't think we've really seen what Trey Lance can do. I still think he's still pretty young. We'll see what he can do in the coming weeks, or in the coming years, possibly. All right, Paul, let's move on to our midseason awards. Midseason awards here. We got MVP, we got Offensive Player of the Year, midseason Defensive Player of the Year, midseason Rookie of the Year, and of course, mid-season Coach of the Year. Let's go ahead, Nofog. Let's start with mid-season Coach of the Year. Who's your mid-season Coach of the Year right now?
In all honesty, and I hate saying this, but I'm going to go with Dan Quinn of the Washington Commanders. You're talking about an organization that revamped from ownership down.
Yeah.
They revamped from ownership down, and what they're doing right now, and the way this team looks, both offensively and defensively. I got to give credit to Dan Quinn. It was close, but I think Quinn is Mike Tomlin was the other guy that I was looking at. Like, wow, he's really doing this with the Steelers again. Like, really?
Ultimate floor raiser.
Yeah, I'm like, I gotta go with Dan Quinn.
I'm not mad. I didn't even think about him. Honestly, he wasn't even a guy I thought about. He's definitely going to be in the running all year. Like, honestly, if the Commanders keep this run, let's say they win the division, I think he wins it. Like I say, if the Steelers win the division and the Commanders win the division, like if those two guys win it, I think that it's going to go to Quinn, because he had the more. I feel like it's one of those things that's more unexpected. Even though what Mike Tomlin is doing in Pittsburgh, making that very risky QB change, I think very expected. I mean, very unexpected that the Commanders would be where they are with a rookie quarterback, right? So that's a good one. I didn't even think about that. That's a great one. I'm not gonna lie to you. Honestly, for me, Paul, I'm not gonna lie to you. This is gonna shock you a little bit, because and look, I will admit it may be because I had just seen the game. Look, Sean McVay started out 1-4, right? If somehow, some way they make the postseason and win this division, I don't know how you couldn't give it to them if Dan Quinn and them fall off, right?
Yeah,
I do think it may be Dan Quinn's to lose. That's a good one. I didn't even think about that. It may be Dan Quinn's to lose. But Sean McVay, they were 1-4, left for dead, talking about trading guys, trading Matt Stafford, trading Cooper Kupp. if Sean McVay, they're 4-4 now. I believe they're tied for first.
Yep.
For the division, I believe, with the Cardinals. If they can win this division again and make the postseason, they're always one of those teams I wouldn't want to play because they have a great coach and a veteran quarterback with weapons again, and they're getting guys healthy again. With guys coming up who can help, man, I think Sean McVay is definitely a good candidate for that one. I think he could be definitely a candidate. Let's see. Kevin Oliver says, if you can give it to coordinators, Quinn, Tomlin, and Dan Campbell. Dan Campbell, I think, is going to be up there. I think if they have the best record in football, like I said, let's see the Chiefs lose a couple, and the Lions gain that number 1 seed in the NFC. Well, actually, they're different divisions, doesn't matter. But let's say the Lions get the number 1 seed in the NFC, they can win it. Definitely can win it.
Look, I know it would be an unpopular pick, but Andy Reid.
Yeah. I mean, he's always going to be in the running.
You got a 7-0 team, and when you look at that offense, Patrick Mahomes hasn't done much.
I think what happens with I think Patrick Mahomes is always going to take votes away from Andy Reid because he has the best quarterback in football.
Well, yeah. But Patrick Mahomes isn't even statistically. See, this is the facade that comes in. He's not even statistically a top 15 quarterback this year. Yet he's on a team that is 7-0. It ain't just because of Patty Mahomes.
Well, but let's give Spags, like your boy, give Spags some credit to that as well. Because if it wasn't for Spags, I don't think they'll be 7-0.
No, Spags is the new Jim Johnson.
That's a good one. Yeah. Yep. If you guys don't know who Jim Johnson is, kids, look him up. Legendary defensive coordinator for the Philadelphia Eagles. He's definitely the new Jim Johnson.
That's who he learned under.
Yep. He has found his new Jim. Andy Reid has found his new Jim Johnson.
Yeah.
And Steve Spagnuolo. That's a good point. All right, let's go ahead and do. I think this is an easy one, right? We're not going to do offensive rookie of the year. We're just going to do rookie of the year as a whole. Rookie of the year, who's that?
It sucks because of where he is. I wanted to talk about Brock Bowers. And Brock Bowers is having a great season.
Having a hell of a year on the shittiest team in the league. like it's crazy.
It would be his if Jaden Daniels wasn't statistically a top 10 quarterback in the league right now and carrying the Washington Commanders, a disenfranchised franchise up until this year.
I said Brock Bowers, to me, was the best football player in the draft last year.
Yes, you did.
He was the best player in the draft. Right. And I felt like I think the Chargers could have gotten him. I think they could have had a chance to get him and pair him with Justin Herbert, which would have been unreal, in my opinion. And Brock Bowers, I don't even know what his numbers look like. Let me look him up real quick.
I think he only had, he caught a touchdown today. So I think he's got 2 touchdowns on the year. But when you look at receivers who have 35 or more receptions, he's got 52 receptions on 68 targets, and his catch percentage. His catch percentage is through the fucking roof. This guy's catching over 80% of the passes thrown to him.
He's on pace for 108 catches and 1,000, just under 1,100 yards.
Yeah, I think he's like 4th or 5th in total yards. Receiving yards.
He's super good, man. Wait till he gets a quarterback. This guy is going to be unbelievable. Like he's going to be unreal. I can't wait for him to get a quarterback. I really can't wait. But yeah, I think Jaden Daniels is both of our picks for right now. He's going to run away with it. Brian, do Steeler fans look at Tomlin a little sideways, like the floor is high and they've been trying to get him to pleasant enough, especially when they never bad enough to get a chance at Caleb Williams? Steeler fans, it's honestly, I would say, like, it just answers that question real quick. Steeler fans are happy with Tomlin because he always puts us in position to win. I
Mhm.
think I will say the one thing that Tomlin has not done well, which it seems like it's working now, is his coordinator issue with Matt Canada and who's the other guy that we didn't like? Who was the guy for
Oh, he
Canada?
got a head coaching job. Todd.
Todd Haley. Yeah,
Yeah, Todd Haley.
Haley, who wasn't great, who always clashed with Ben. Um, I think that's been. I think the Matt Canada, the Matt Canada hire really irked, including myself, really irked people because Tomlin was it just seemed like he was really, really dead set on him, and that
Yeah.
irked people. Everybody saw that it wasn't working, and it took him like some time to kind of realize, okay, I got to change, and that's when he fired him, and then he made like Faulkner and this other guy co-offensive coordinators, and and then the whole Kenny Pickett thing, like that was a pretty bad thing. And I'm not gonna lie to you, it looks even worse now because Malik Willis actually looks pretty damn fucking good. But you know what? What do you what do we know? What do we know? But look, I think, but at the end of the day, Tomlin is well beloved in Pittsburgh by people who understand football. He's well beloved. They understand that this guy is the Steeler organization is the epitome of stability.
Yeah.
And look, nobody. One of the reasons why the Steelers are such a great organization is because we are consistent and we are stable, right? That therefore we're not going to end up being like the Browns or the Jags or one of like that who have coaches underwear. Like, yeah, most people are very very happy with Tomlin, and they're gonna stick with him. Like they're not. There's not.
Yeah.
They're gonna stick with him. The minute we get rid of Tomlin, if we ever got rid of him for whatever reason, 30 teams, 30, 29, 28 teams will be knocking on his door, right? Knocking on his door. So there's that. All right, let's keep it moving real quick. Let's do offensive player of the year. Bog, who is your offensive player of the year right now in the NFL?
I'd probably have to say Derrick Henry.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't think what he's doing right now. Again, he's an MVP candidate, so I can't. I just can't. What is he? He's the only player right now averaging over 100 yards rushing a game.
I gotta look at that. Let me
So
look. He might be.
I
Yeah.
think, yeah, I think he is. I think he's the only running back averaging over 100 yards rushing a game. So I would have to say it's Derrick Henry. You can make an argument for Jamar Chase, but
All right. So, yeah, Derrick Henry is probably the leading guy, and I wanted to say him, but I'm not gonna lie to you, Fog. It's your guy. He plays for your team. I think it's Saquon Barkley. I think Saquon Barkley right now, today, is the offensive player of the year because of the resurgence of year he has had. He almost has I don't know if he's leading the league in rushing, but he has 925 yards rushing on just 157 carries. He's averaging 5.9 yards a carry with 6 touchdowns. He's having a career year, and he's going to have the best year of his career as an Eagle. And it's just honestly, I'm happy for the guy, and I think right now he's definitely for me is the offensive player of the year. I think Derrick Henry is phenomenal. It could go neck and neck with these guys, but how Saquon Barkley is playing right now, I think I'd probably give it to him as the offensive player of the year. I really would be. I think that his play, I don't want to say it's you tell me. You can tell me more than you let me know if this is true. I feel like the way he's been playing, one, I think it saved the job of Nick Sirianni. And two, I think it's really kind of helped right the ship of the offense for your team.
um,
I don't know. I don't know
Yeah,
for sure though.
I'd agree. I would agree with both of those assessments. Um, Look, he's healthy, and this is what Saquon Barkley can do behind a solid offensive line.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it was a 3rd and 17 that they had where he ran it in for a touchdown. They
Yeah.
basically ran a draw play, and again, the offensive line just opened up that middle, and he went in and he hit it. No, nobody was able to catch. Horrible defense by Jacksonville. It's Jacksonville. What do you expect? But yeah, no, I'm not mad at that at all. Saquon would have been Saquon's in my top 5 as far as offensive players to potentially win Offensive Player of the Year this year.
So Saquon, so Derrick Henry is actually leading the league in rushing right now with 1,052.
I think he's averaging. I think Henry's averaging over 6.5 yards per carry too. That is crazy.
Yeah.
To be at the midway point doing
Ooh.
that. I think he's over 1,000 yards this year already. We're at the mid. We're week 9. He's already. He could rush for 2,000 yards.
He probably will. he probably is going to 1,000 yards. He probably will. And like honestly, it's one of those years where he's having such a phenomenal year. Any other year, Saquon Barkley would have ran away with this probably, right? In a lot of other years, but because Derrick Henry's having one of these superhuman years, he's probably going. And he may even win MVP. He may even win. I've said if he hits 2,000 yards, he's going to win it. He should win it if he hits 2,000 yards. I mean, and then Lamar should probably win Offensive Player of the Year. I mean, those guys. It's unbelievable. Those guys are going to win something. One's going to win MVP or Offensive Player of the Year, or it's going to be vice versa. Like it's unbelievable that the 1-2 punch those guys are. That's just crazy. And no, it's so funny. It's so funny that Kevin Oliver said this about the Dallas Cowboys, saying shout out to the Dallas Cowboys driving past his home to get to the stadium and not thinking of signing him. Henry does live in Dallas, which is honestly. Which is why Falk said that they're going to be a loser every single week.
Yeah. Yes, they are. Even when they win, they're losers.
All right, Falk, who's your MVP? Who is your mid-season MVP right now?
Right now, just after the game today, I was flip-flopping with Derrick Henry and Josh Allen, but I got to go with Lamar Jackson. Yeah, and I'm going to say this. I'm going to say this right now because also after the game that he had today, and you mentioned it earlier, I don't care that he's not on a team that is winning. His statistics have him in the top 10. Top 5, and what he's doing is keeping this team relevant.
Yep.
Joe Burrow.
Yeah. Like Joe Burrow, Joe Burrow was 6-3 and not 4-5. Had they have started the way we thought they would start,
it'd be a different story completely.
A different story, and I think he would probably be the leading guy. I think Lamar would be there too. But I think the league would want to give it to Joe Burrow.
Yeah. Well, in all honesty, right now, the top 3 guys are Lamar, Henry, and Burrow to me as far as MVPs.
100%. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, Lamar, Henry, and Burrow. You know, honestly, because Joe Burrow is 4-5, it's not his fault. Record does matter. It just does. It's fortunately, it has to matter. But honestly, man, I gotta give Jared Goff some love too, man. I think he's one of the best quarterbacks on in my opinion, the best team in football right now today are the Detroit Lions. It ain't the Chiefs. It's not the Ravens. It's not the Bills. It's the Detroit Lions are the best team in football. And Jared Goff is quarterbacking for them. And I don't think he's going to win MVP because his numbers aren't popping. They're not wow popping. I mean, he has 14 touchdowns and 4 picks interception ratio. I don't say only. He has 1,800 yards. he has been phenomenal. Just managing that team. He's the ultimate game manager, and I think he needs some MVP votes. I think he does, and I think that he should get some votes. I don't think he's going to win. I think he would have to put up some spectacular numbers along with his team continuing to win. But I think Joe Burrow and Jared Goff deserve some votes, but I think Lamar Jackson may run away with this. I really
Which
think
would be
Lamar
crazy
Jackson,
because that'd be back-to-back MVP years.
back-to-back MVP years. It will be his third MVP in I think 5 years. If I'm not mistaken. It'll be his third in 5 years, which puts him in an era where like it hasn't, puts him with Brett Favre, Joe Burrow, or Aaron Rodgers, Peyton Manning, Tom Brady. I mean, guys who've won more
this early in his career.
This early in his career, right? This early in his career. So, yeah, I mean, I think Lamar is leading right now. I think we can agree with that mid-season, but still got a lot of season to go to kind of see what happens here. What happens next? We got Monday Night Football. Monday Night Football. We got the Chiefs and Bucks. Who you got in that game? Chiefs and Bucks. Chiefs at Bucks. Rematch of Super Bowl.
Aaron Jones just scored a touchdown. Oh no, that's Jalen Naylor. Shit. I saw the 3. I thought it was Aaron Jones.
Wait, who's winning?
Vikings just went up 13-7.
Oh wow, okay.
I'm gonna take the Bucks in a surprise. I think it's time for the I think the Chiefs got to go down. Again, you can't keep living off of this defense, and I think the Bucks are going to pull the upset off. It's not a knock on the Chiefs. The Chiefs are better than the Bucks, but it's any given. Well, in this case, any given Monday, and I'm going to roll with the Bucks on this one with the upset.
I did not. If there was any game, I did not have the Chiefs losing this game. Like, especially how depleted. Not this game. I mean, let me see who they have coming up. The Chiefs. Let me see who they have coming up. Let's see. I think they're going to win this game. I think their undefeated streak will come to an end. Obviously, I can see them possibly losing to the Bills on November 17th at Buffalo. That's going to be a tough one, and then they obviously have they have a pretty favorable schedule. Good Lord, they have the Panthers.
Oh wait, no, this isn't in Tampa Bay. It's in Kansas City.
Oh, it is. I see that. It is in Kansas City.
Yeah, scratch that. Kansas City's winning. If it was in Tampa Bay, different story. It's in Kansas City. Kansas City's winning. I think Tampa Bay's road record is like 1-3.
Yeah, I think Tampa Bay is cooked. I think they're 4-4 right now. I think they're going to kind of fade into the abyss pretty soon here. I have the Chiefs falling their first game. I have them falling. I can see the Broncos probably upsetting them one day, maybe next week. But I haven't fallen to the Chiefs. And if they don't fall to the Chiefs, I'm sorry, I haven't fallen to the Bills. Excuse me. If the Chiefs don't fall to the Bills on November 17th, they have the Panthers and Raiders. Those are wins. That'll put them at, let's see, 8-0, 9-0, 10-0, 11-0. Chargers, I think they can win that game. 12-0. Browns, 13-0. Texans could be a game they lose. Maybe. Then they have us on Christmas Day. This is not going to happen because they're going to lose a game, but they could potentially be 15-0 because their schedule is so favorable. Their schedule is unbelievably favorable. So I think, but they're gonna lose one of these games. They're not going 15-0. Their offense is just not there right now. They're not there. They're not there, are they? Baker needs some revenge on Mahomes for running him out of Texas Tech. Did that happen? Were they there at the same time? Maybe they were. They probably were. Maybe they were. That sounds about right. That sounds about right. That sounds about right. Even though I feel like Baker was a walk-on at Texas Tech. I don't know. I could be wrong too. I'm not really sure. But we both got the Chiefs in this game. So then we'll move on to go 8-0, and the Bucks will continue to slide to 4-5. But that's gonna do it for us, man. We want to appreciate all of you for sticking with us for about 1.05 hours, allowing us to come into your homes on this Sunday night. I know it's late for you East Coasters over there. It's 10:20. Not too late for us right now for the over here on the West Coast. But we want to thank everyone who watched in, everyone who watched in on 4QQ, BEZ Sports, Objectively Biased Sports, everyone who watched in everywhere. 3-Man Weave. I saw some comments on you guys as well. Appreciate it for you guys showing love. Definitely we'll be back next week to talk week 10, the actual week 10. I don't know why I put week 10 on the screen, but week 10. I was a little ahead of myself. We'll be back next week, talk about week 10's games, and looking forward to it. Fog. And you're like, oh, wait, Fog, before I go, I know you've been doing your top 12 in college football. I know we have not talked about it, but I'm going to try to shoehorn it into the show next week. This Tuesday, right, is the biggest day of the year. And I'm not talking about the election. I'm talking about the college football playoff rankings coming out. Top 12. You have no top 12 coming out tomorrow.
I already put it out today.
You put it out today? Oh, okay. So that's your top 12 for the rankings, or that's just your top 12?
That's my top 12 for the rankings right now.
All right, you guys heard it.
That's who I believe the top 12 should be.
All right. Well, Fog, you guys go ahead and go on Objectively Biased Sports. Fog already has his CFP top 12 team playoff rankings. I'll have mine out tomorrow. Still doing my research on that. And like I said, I am super excited for this year's playoffs in college football. I cannot wait.
Oh, it's going to be fun.
You know what I'm hoping for? I'm praying for Colorado to get in. Like, you don't understand. You know who else is praying for it? Every hater is praying for it because it's going to be absolute cinema if Primetime gets in the playoff. Don't let him win the Big 12. Do not let Primetime win the Big 12 championship.
Not going to lie. Did not see this coming.
We did a show maybe over a month ago that I think who they lose to where we were like, man, they could lose this game. Who did they lost to somebody. They
opened up getting their asses kicked by Nebraska.
That was the game. Well, they opened up against North Dakota State. They barely won.
Oh, yeah. They barely won that game. Then they lost to Nebraska, and it's like, holy shit, this team is really going to struggle. And, man, I'm telling you right now, that offensive line still looks like shit. But that defense has turned it around from what they looked like in those first 3 games to what they've looked like now.
Yeah. Hey, look, man, I think Shedeur, I can't wait to do our college football show because I think Shedeur Sanders is the best quarterback in this league or in this draft in the country. And I think that he is going to be on one of these teams. I honestly hope he goes to Vegas, right? With a new coach. I don't think Antonio Pierce is cut out for this. I really don't. I get people. He's popular. I just don't think he's cut out for this. But man, I'm waiting. I hope
Cam Ward.
I too. You like Cam Ward?
I like Cam Ward.
I like him too. I can't even front. I like him too. I like
Cam Ward.
I do too. I like Cam Ward as well. I do like Cam Ward, and those are the top 2 guys. I think those are the top 2 guys. You know who I do like? And we're talking about this. I like Clay Kublik too.
Yes,
I like him. I like him. He didn't look great this past week. They lost. Clemson did go down, so that was a big game. They big loss to Louisville, but I like him. I like Cade Klubnik. I really do. I think he could be good. I think he could be pretty solid. But we'll see. We're going to evaluate these guys, but that's going to do it for us. Appreciate you guys staying up with us, man. Kevin Oliver, appreciate you joining in. You're always welcome, man. You're always good. You're always giving us great comments, man. You're really, really helping us out here. Really, really appreciate that, dude. Again, I'm Be Easy. Follow our pages, Be Easy Sports. Follow Objectively Biased Sports for the Fog. Go check out his top 12. I'll share it on my page so you guys can see it. And that's going to do it for us. We'll see you guys same time next week, same place. See you guys next week. Have a good night.